Good morning. It's Doug and Beans coming to you from Hammersmith Equestrian Center in East Ennis, Massachusetts on Cape Cod. And we're here with our weekly video. Beans got a couple shout outs about one of our programs and some other things, so I'll let her start things off before we get to the video.
Alright, so first off we have our Hammersmith swag. So this is our last call for ordering. We're gonna be ordering at the end of the month, so all orders need to be in by September 30th. So a little bit of info. We're gonna have t-shirts, long sleeves, tank tops, and hoodies all available in white or black. And this is what they look like. I'm wearing one, but this is what the back, our logo, looks like. So we have the sizes available, men's, women's, and kids. But for a t-shirt, it's $18, long sleeve is $22, a tank top is $18, a hoodie is $38. And are we gonna be doing hats too?
I don't have a call on hats, so I think we're gonna wait till next time to do them.
All right. So that's all about our Hammersmith swag. So if you're interested in ordering, either stop by to fill out a form, or you can call the barn and then bring the money by later. Our number is 508-258-0499. Also, on Saturdays, we have our horsemanship program starting up. So that's going to be running on Saturdays from 9:30 to 12:30, and that's for kids 8 and up. So the horsemanship program is all about teaching kids not only how to ride horses, but to be safe around horses in general, whether you're on the ground or you're mounted. So it's really about teaching about the general care of horses, horse health, barn care, all about being able to respect the horses and trust them and have the mutual relationship and bond with them, and really be a well-rounded horse person and not just know how to ride. Because if you just know how to ride, you can't really be safe around them, and if you don't feel safe and confident around the horses, you're not going to be having as much fun as you could be having. So we really want all of our riders down here to be able to have as much fun as possible and be safe on the horses and around the horses while doing that. So even as basic as how to lead a horse through a gate, how to not get stepped on by the horse when you're leading them, and then going into more of the health care, how to tell if a horse is colicking, going over vital signs, doing leg wraps, groundwork, and mounted work. So it'll be a lot of fun. The kids absolutely love it. So if you're interested in signing up or have any questions, again, you can call the barn or stop on down here. The number is 508-258-0499. And when you call, you can ask for Linda, our barn manager, and she'll give you all the info that you need.
Thanks, Beans. Okay, now we get on to our video. And it's a video with a little bit of controversy because it's called How to Make Your Horse into a Push-Button Horse. And a lot of people have said to me, well, a horse isn't a machine, a rider's not a machine, you can't do that. Well, you know, there are guys out there that pinstripe, you know, that do straight lines on cars and so forth. And when they do that, their goal is to imitate a machine, to make that as perfect as a machine, but the fact that they did it by hand makes it special, okay? So that's what we're trying to do riding and with our horse, training it. We're trying to make it look like it's rider's a machine, horse is a machine, everything is seamless, and that should be our goal. Now, Beans, do you have the magic wand?
Here it is.
So I don't want everybody's gonna be disappointed because they expected to tune in today and say, okay, here's the big secret, right? The big secret is there is no big secret, okay? It's hard work. Horses are common sense.
Yep.
But the best saying in the horse world is there's nothing common about common sense in the horse world. Everybody wants to make things complicated. So when we ride, we want to try to know what we're doing when we're riding and know what we want to do and don't do the things we shouldn't do. Now that's easy to say because inexperienced riders are doing all kinds of things, sending all kinds of signals to horses, and what happens is the horse is confused, okay? If I have to think about riding Harley here, okay, and I want him to trot, and we'll do it in a minute, I've got to give him the only signals I'm going to give him to trot, okay? The more I work with him, and I've worked with him quite a bit for the past 2 weeks, is if I say, well, I'm going to sit deep, I'm gonna put contact on him. I'm gonna give him some leg. I'm gonna look straight ahead. I'm gonna be relaxed. Okay, I'm gonna get him moving. I'm gonna give a little pressure, stop the leg, and hopefully I can get him cruising in a sitting trot for a mile. And I've done it on him. Okay. However, he gets to the point where, okay, Doug is sitting deep, and I think he wants to trot. You know. So before I give him any other signals, a lot of times, right from the way I sit on him when I get ready to trot, he automatically gets up into the trot, slow trot. Okay. So I think about the things I want to do. A lot of people can't sit the trot because they don't sit properly. And the mistake they make is they get the horse up into a trot, and that's so important to them because it's hard for new riders to get horses moving. So they finally get the trot, and then they think they're going to sit and sit perfectly. Okay? The best way to do it, and the way you should do it, is, and the way Harley is so responsive, I'll just get into my good riding position. He'll say, I know what's going on here, right? And he'll get off and he'll do the slow trot. However, if he doesn't, I'm gonna get slight contact on him. I'm gonna give him a squeeze until he gives me what I want. And then once he moves, I'm gonna gradually stop the leg, stop the reins, and eventually I've got very little contact on him, no leg, and he's going boom, 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 very consistent, very slow, and he's doing a really nice job with it. The other thing are canter transitions. Everybody wants push button canter transitions, but I don't think they really want it, you know? I think they just want a canter, I think is what the deal is. So they get on a horse and they ask the horse to canter, and guess what? They're doing about 5 other things they shouldn't be doing. Sitting wrong on the horse, pulling where they shouldn't, maybe their head isn't straight, maybe they're not looking straight ahead. I could list, 20 things that they're probably doing that they have no idea they're doing. That's why when we do riding instruction, we have riders say, no, my hands are in the right place. Well, we take videos and say, look, you thought they were in the right place, but you can see from the videos that they're not. Yeah. Okay? So it's very important. They always say the hardest thing to make a horse do is go straight. And the reason it's hard is because you're doing everything in the world to tell it not to go straight, and you don't even realize it. Mm-hmm. So it becomes a question of training ourselves. Harley already knows how to do these things. So I gotta be really careful. I don't ask him for too many things. I don't ask him in a way that confuses him. Because when a horse is confused, they just don't respond. And it's the old canter adage where that's one of the top 10 experiences of your life the first time you canter, right? Mm-hmm. You kick, you kick, you kick, you kick, and by half a lap, 3/4 lap, bang, your life dream is, you've succeeded, you've gotten a canter. You haven't done anything right at all. The horse finally said, I'm trotting fast, I don't know why I'm still being kicked, and okay, I'll try cantering. That's not a push button horse, that's not a rider pushing the right buttons, okay? So again, our goal should be to strive to be very fluid, and we have a procedure. We're gonna ask a horse to trot. I start my trot, I sit deep, okay? I sit deep, then I make sure I got the contact, then I make sure I give leg, and then I give a little bit to pressure sometimes, not going. I have a whole thing I go through, but if I do it enough, if he's lazy and he doesn't want to do it, well, he gets all 3 or 4 or 5 things at once, okay? If I have to, spurs, okay? Because I want that instant response. That's a training method. That's not something we want to do all the time. I don't want to get on a horse and Harley every time. I want to make him push button, so bang, I hit him on that's not push button. That's not my definition of it, okay? My definition of the smallest amount of input, I want the outside world looking at me riding to say like, how do you do that? And I always tell that to all my students. Yeah. I want to watch you control this horse, and I want to have to study you to figure out how you're doing it. Yeah. Okay? So before I take Harley around for a quick demonstration, do you have anything to add, Beans?
Well, I really think, like Doug's saying, it's all about having that routine, and it's all about consistency, especially when you're training a horse. So like Jagger and I are doing a lot of work together right now, and Jagger's a horse that you really have to be consistent with because he's very sensitive to input. So if I'm doing a million things, he's gonna start getting all, like we say, jiggy and it going all around and bending the wrong way because he's trying to guess what I'm asking of him. So when he starts doing that, I have to look at myself as a rider and say, okay, what am I doing that's making him respond like this? So with him, it's really easy to tell if I'm not being consistent. Some horses, it's not as easy to tell, So it's really important as the rider to focus on yourself whenever the horse isn't giving you the response that you want, to make sure that you are being consistent, you're asking for everything the same way every time, because that's the only way that you're going to get those instant responses, instant transitions from your horse. And it's how you create a relationship with your horse too, because the easier it is to ride, the funner it is to ride your horse, obviously you're going to have a better relationship with that horse. So.
Okay, so I'll take Harley around. We'll give him a slow trot. I'll kind of try to tell you what I'm doing, and I'll give you at least one canter transition, maybe two. See how Harley's doing today. Let's see how responsive he is. It's early in the morning. It's his breakfast time and all this stuff. So, but I think he's going to be good today, right, Harley? So let me take him around here, and I'm gonna come around you, Linda, over here. So again, when I ask Harley for a trot, I'm gonna make sure, first of all, I'm gonna do a sitting trot, so I wanna get nice and deep, and I've got contact on his mouth, all right? I'm gonna get contact, and I'm just gonna, all right. So a little more effort that time. I mean, he's been standing still, so if I take him down again, release pressure, let him stand down. And now I just get him to walk. And I sit deep, little leg, and he's off into a beautiful sitting trot. Now I practice releasing rein pressure, a little leg pressure. Harley will go 5 miles like this, okay? Because he's been trained to do it. Give him a little rein pressure. I'm giving him a little bump on leg. Just keep him going around the curve. Keep nice and slow. Try him again. So I walk him. And sit deep. And I had to give him a little leg. Usually I just sit, and that's it. Now in the canter transition, okay? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give to pressure, okay? Lean a little bit forward. Sit deep, a little outside leg, okay? So I'll take him from a sitting trot the first time. And give the pressure, and up. Okay, that was slow. That wasn't off, right? He's a little tired. It's early in the morning. He's not really ready to go, so he sat there while I was talking. So let me ask him again. So I'm gonna give the pressure and up. Pretty good transition on that one. All right. And again, the horses have to be warmed up. I warmed him up for 15 minutes, but he sat down for another 20 minutes before he did anything. So it's up, release the pressure, come on. And coming down from canter, as important as going up. So let's see you do a little bit less when I ask for the canter now. So I got a nice slow trot. I'm gonna give the pressure. No leg, just give the pressure, and he's right up, okay? So let's see if he's in a really good mood today. He'll give me canter from a standstill. So from a standstill, I'm probably gonna have to give him a little more. Okay, I'm gonna put some pressure on him here. I'm gonna release the pressure, and hoop, hoop. Ah, not that time, here, Harley. So now he didn't give it to me, I pushed the buttons. Push 2 buttons. I gave the pressure, I gave leg. That's all I gave him. Let's see if I can give a little more. Again, I'll get the stand. I'll stop him. And I'll release the pressure. Up. Ah, Harley. Make me look good. Bad. Let's give him one out of a walk. See if he'll do that for me. Or nice. Ready, Harley? Up, up. Okay, that's not seamless, okay? So even Harley, I've spent a lot of time with, he needs more work. Good on the trot, right? Sit here, trot, there's the trot, right? Now, the canter. Oh, that's better. So again, he's more used to going from the trot. So if I stop him, again, it's pushing the right buttons. Trot. Nice slow trot. As soon as I release pressure, he knows what I want. So it's all about being consistent. Here, Beans. Set up this. Let's go next to you. So he wasn't perfect. I've only worked with him for 2 weeks. I love a horse that goes out of a standstill into a canter, but it's not a, you know, a necessary thing. That's kind of a flashy thing. We get him out of a walk, we get him out of a trot, but you see, when I take him to a trot, you can see right away, he is much more responsive to going canter off a trot. So if I've got contact on him, slow trot, and remember, canters, you always ask for that from a sitting trot. And why? So you can sit deep on the horse. Okay, a lot of hunter jumpers, post, post, post. Try to ask for a canter from a post. Then what happens? You gotta be off the horse. All right, if you wanna sit on the horse, it'd be much safer, ask for a sitting trot. So as soon as he's in the sitting trot, and the next command he gets from me is a release of pressure, right there, he's gonna go up into a canter most times, okay? So, you know, if you have any questions, ask in the comments, or if you'd like to see anything else, let us know. Beans, you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think too, it's like Doug was, when he was riding Harley, and you could see each time he'd ask for the canter transition from the trot, that he'd get more of an instant response each time. So I think it's important to keep in mind when you're talking about push button horses and push button responses from your horse, that you're not going to get it as soon as you get on your horse. You know, you have to work into that. You have to build that consistency. If you have a horse that you ride every single day, yes, maybe as soon as you get on that horse, you'll get those push button responses. But also it's important to remember, you know, Harley isn't Doug's horse. So if you get on a horse that you don't work with consistently, I mean, maybe that horse is just a super easygoing, really willing to please horse and is very responsive. But most of the time when you get on a horse, you aren't going to get those push button responses right away. You have to figure the horse out, and you have to be consistent with it, whether that's 10 minutes of riding, an hour of riding, a month of riding it. It all depends on the horse and how you ride it and how consistent you are in order to get those more push button responses. And you might not get it every ride, you know? I mean, Harley, you know, some days when Doug rides him, as soon as he gets on, he goes right into the canter from a standstill. Sometimes he's having a day where maybe he's a little bit more tight today. I mean, he is in his 20s, you know, we give him a lot of credit because he goes really, really easily, and he loves going. He's a forward mover as soon as you get on him. But, you know, you have to keep that in mind with your horses and think about the day, the weather. Maybe your horse has some arthritis starting, it's humid out, the cold's starting. So those are all things that you have to think about.
And it's his defense, this is a different routine than we normally have. We don't get him up this early, feed him, and then jump on him right away, warm him up, make him stand, do video. So, you know, that's really counter to how you train a horse to be push button.
Yeah.
Push button is all about doing the same things very consistently all the time. So the horse, as soon as you ask for something, there's no guesswork going on by him. Yeah. Or with him, you put an inexperienced student on him and they just give him all kinds of false input. What does he do? Nothing. He just won't go at all.
Yeah.
And he's so responsive when you're very deliberate. So I guess the common sense approach, okay, is know how to ask your horse what buttons to push to get the result you want. And after that, you got to get a little bit of help if you're having difficulty with it, and find out what are you doing beyond those buttons. What other buttons that are you pushing that is confusing the horse?
Okay. And if you don't have someone to watch you, try to set up your phone or a camera somewhere so you can record your rides. That way you can go back and watch yourself, because when you're on top of the horse, you may think you know everything that your body's doing, but unless you can see yourself riding, sometimes it's hard to tell. Sometimes, you know, Doug will be like, why is your lower leg moving like that? And I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize my lower leg was moving. So sometimes you really do need input from other people, and you know, sometimes people don't like input from other people when they're riding, but you need it really in order to be a well-rounded rider.
I think the key is a lot of people stand around a barn and watch somebody ride, and they make comments about theirs, or say something to them like they're their instructor and they're just hacking the horse. I think the rider, no matter how experienced you are, have to ask for the help or take lessons.
Yeah.
Have somebody look at you who's objective, you know? So many times I'll be doing something and somebody will say something, oh my God, you're moving your hands all around. It's like, no, I'm not. You go, yeah, you are. It's like, okay, well, I got to think like whoever's saying that is right, and I'm not, because I'm concentrating on everything else I have to do.
Yeah.
So the key is, again, to the push button horse, push only the right buttons. It's like dialing the wrong phone number, right? Dial the right phone number every time, and when you dial it wrong, don't keep on pushing buttons. Because what's going to happen? Nothing. No connection. So I hope that helped people out a lot. And like I say, share it. Make comments about what you saw, and if you have questions or you have, you don't agree with something we did, let us know about it.
Yeah, please.
Okay? We don't do everything right. We develop our own techniques for doing things, and I'm sure there's lots of people that don't agree or do it different.
Yep.
But we work hard at it. We ride every day. We ride a lot, so we develop our own principles, right?
Right.
So, okay, Beans. Thanks for coming,
Thank you.
watching, and we'll see you guys next week.